Thank you so much, Maria. It's really lovely to be with the family. Um, it's interesting that as you started off and you were talking about all the changes that are rapidly happening, and I was thinking how at this time, the two words that came in Baba's Murli in the last few days that stood very powerfully with me is the Tower of Silence. And we are on the highest on high peak. And I was thinking how these two energies are levels of stability that the soul needs now. I think people in the world don't any longer want to hear too many words, but they want to have an experience. And they will only be able to digest what Baba's sharing with us when they feel our stability and they feel our stillness. I think the level of stillness has become something so important because of the change that is happening internally and externally on so many levels. There's a lot of noise in vibration. The vibrations in the world and even with souls have become very noisy. And that is because there is so much change that is going on, but the soul is not able to become still. And I think for me, when I was thinking about this topic, faith, intoxication, and destination, it has really been my personal experience and journey for the last while. I think in order to create a real silence within the soul, there needs to be a deep level of faith. It's not just about knowing, but faith is when the soul is able to hold such a stage and not move from it, because there is more than just the knowing, but a belief about something. And when my belief about this truth is so anchored in who I am, that regardless of what is happening outside of me, I can be silent. And I think one of the things that recently Baba has been taking up a lot is in my journey to become bodiless. Baba's talking a lot about becoming bodiless. And I see a very, very deep connection between the level of faith that I have in who I truly am. And then it gives me the power to be bodiless. Because if I'm not having this deep, deep faith in my most subtle energy, the energy of being a soul, not just in words, but the real subtle energy of who I am, that vibration is still going to hold me. And so as much as I'm making the effort to feel that I'm a bodiless soul, it's still an intellectual exercise. It's not an exercise that is really deeply taking me into subtlety. And so for me, this first journey of the faith of becoming aware of my own being and the subtlety of my being is where many things open. And I always think about our dadis, and I think about Baba, Brahma Baba. And this deep, deep faith of who am I had been so deepened. And I'm thinking about Dadi Ratan Mohini, one of the areas that Dadi Rachan Mohini, recently we celebrated her 100th birthday. So amazing. But one of the deepest things I felt that she took me on a journey through her company was the subtlety of being a soul. And, you know, the energy of being a soul is becoming more and more subtle. I cannot deepen the journey of soul consciousness when there is still gross energies of fear or a physical energy that's still holding me. And so I feel that this deep experience of being this pure energy, and I saw this in my own life many times, how that energy of being just the subtle being of light has saved me, even in physical conditions. I remember one day when I was at a shopping center and there was an experience where somebody was being hijacked. I don't know if you understand that word, hijacked. And so I became a focus during that time because somebody was hijacking this lady with her car. And I saw the moment, and the person who was hijacking her noticed that I saw it. And so their attention came towards me. And I knew that I had to help. And at the same time, it became very obvious that I was being seen. And I think in those moments, it's not that you are convincing yourself, I'm a soul, I'm incognito, I'm light. There's no extra thoughts of convincing the self, but really having the faith that if I am light, and if I am peace, then violence can't touch me. And immediately in that moment, there was so much of light and power.
Dipti, you know, as a request, we have a request here. Can you speak slower?
Sure, sorry.
Thank you. Sorry for interrupting you.
No. And so we see how when I have faith about something, then I don't take a long time to arrive at the space of need. Faith brings me to that space quickly. And how do I really deepen that faith is really to practice and experience, practice and experience. I think in my own Brahmin life, it has been certain practices and experiences over a long period of time that has created a stillness in the soul. And that is faith. Sometimes when we think of faith, we may think about areas in our journey where we're trying to believe in something. But rather, the energy of faith that Baba teaches us is when I just deepen the experience over and over again so that I arrive in that moment quickly. I think that when I have this deep experience of being that soul, there's deep safety. Today in the world, we need to experience being fearless and feeling safe. And the more and more the soul has a deep faith in its subtlety, the more it can remain still and safe. So it's a very beautiful experience and a very powerful journey. I think another area of the faith that we look at is faith in my part. I think at this point of time, Baba and drama requires us to step into our highest part. Baba has been saying that you have the highest part to play. But in order to step into my highest part, I need to become aware and have faith in who I am as that elevated soul. And so in that journey, sometimes in the drama, there's the obvious and there's the powerful. When I'm dealing with the obvious, I get caught up in people's roles and people's parts, and I begin to see those as the level of the part that I should be playing. And they have an influence over us. And when I'm operating from that space, I become gross in my energy. But when I have deep faith in my part, then there's a deep silence in the soul. Because I know and I recognize that my part may not be obvious, but I have a powerful part to play. And when I recognize that I have a powerful part to play, I go beyond many complications and many noises that the drama may bring. And I'm steady because Baba has chosen me. Baba has recognized me. Baba has seen that I have a certain level of connection with him. And Baba is using me. And when I recognize my part, I'm able to remain consistent in playing that part. Even though the drama may change and my roles may change. Because the roles in my life's journey can change. But my part is with God. And so when I have faith that my part is with God, then there's a stillness and a stability. Very often in Brahman life, there are still moments where souls begin to wonder about their value and whether they are playing their part at this confluence aged time in its fullness. But when I really realize that my part is with God, and every day I awaken that part, Yesterday in the slogan, Baba shared something so beautifully. Actually, it was Monday morning's Murli in the slogan where Baba said, real good service is when you can bring spiritual honor to distressed souls. I'm sure you remember that. It was such a beautiful definition of what service is. And so as I play my part in that level of service, then I'm playing an elevated part. And many things in my drama may distract me. And, especially this month when we look at the Avyak signals and we look at the whole aspect of harmonizing sanskars, we see how in the process of harmonizing sanskars, sometimes we get distracted from the elevated part I should be playing. But really to know at this time what my true part is very beautiful and powerful. And so faith in my part is so important, because only when I have faith in my part do I open my capacity. At this moment in time, we need the capacity. Not just the knowledge, but the capacity. And if I don't recognize my part, I don't open my capacity. You know, in the world, if someone doesn't realize who they are, they will never be able to offer their best, because they haven't recognized who they are. And similarly, when I recognize myself and my part with God at this time, I open capacity. And when I have faith in my part, then I don't compromise what I need to offer. Baba's giving us so much in such a powerful way at this time. But when I don't have faith, I get influenced by other souls' nature. I get influenced by the situations. I get influenced by the drama. And then I compromise who I am and what I have to offer. And so more and more, I need to look deeper inside myself and ask myself, how much have I deepened the experience of my part, and not get caught up in my roles, because my roles will change. Everything in the drama is becoming so fast now and is changing. But my part till the very end of the confluence age is with God. Yeah. Such a beautiful moment. And so just that first level of faith in the self. And when I have faith, then the soul is able to stay light. And when there's intoxication in the soul, one of the energies of intoxication is that there is determination. I think sometimes souls forget that how intoxication generates determination. If we look at our stories that we've heard of Brahma Baba, and the stories of our daddies, and the stories of our mama, they had so much faith in who they are. And if we look at Baba, and personally, I've seen that with Daddy Janki, having such intoxication of who has chosen me. You know, she always used to remind us of 3 questions. Who am I? Whom do I belong to? And why am I here? And so, who am I deepens faith. Whom I belong to deepens intoxication. And then it allows me to have determination to fulfill my purpose. If I don't have the intoxication, it will never express itself in determined energy. Because right now, in the drama, we need determined energy. We can't just continue to move forward, but we need determination because time is moving fast. And part of determination is consistency. I need to be consistent. Baba said yesterday in the Murli so beautifully that I am constant. I am Sada Shiva. Yeah? Baba said, I'm Sada Shiva. And so in my journey as well, when there is that intoxication, the soul becomes so determined in certain energies that it's able to flow with that space. Yeah? And so, how in my Brahman life, the faith and the intoxication is very necessary. One thing one day Daddy Janki had said to me, I was leaving Madhuban and I had gone to say goodbye to Daddy. And Daddy had put her hand on my heart and she said to me in Hindi, Kabhi dil se kash nahi banna. That means never become disheartened, ever. And I think it was last year when Baba was in one of the Avyak Murlis was talking about when you want to become part of the 9 jewels, the last point Baba had shared in there is never allow yourself to get disheartened. And disheartenment in our Brahmin life can become quiet. It may not be loud. Sometimes in the world or even in the beginning of our Brahmin life, when something affected us or it disappointed us or it disheartened us, many people noticed that we were having waste. They could see it. But now, as we're growing deeper into our journey, our level of disheartenment has also become subtle. But it doesn't mean it's not there. And part of disheartenment is when the soul is no longer happy. When the soul's determined energy is becoming slack. It continues in its Brahman life and saying, yes, I love Baba, I'm here. But the energy is in a merge form. It was something that Baba said on Sunday. Is your remembrance of Baba in a merge form? Or is your remembrance of Baba in an emerged form? So when my remembrance of Baba is in an emerged form in that way, then it is as if I'm in the presence of Baba. And that is the intoxication that allows me to move forward. It drives me. It gives me determination. And we saw this in the efforts of our daddies. Over a period of time, as they recognized Baba and they had faith, there's a beautiful line in the Hindi song, Tu wohi hai. You are that same one. And when they recognize you are that same one, then the intoxication rose. And every of our seniors, every of our ancestor souls that we looked at, the expression of their intoxication was in a very determined energy. And right now we have to fuel ourselves with that level of determination. Is my pace okay, Maria? Yeah, okay. And then another aspect that I find also very important when we talk about faith and intoxication is sometimes we don't use Baba enough. I find in my own Brahmin life, one of the beautiful experiences that I've really appreciated is this relationship with Baba as my mom and dad. I really feel at this time the great, great support of Baba as my parent. And when Baba is my parent, Baba knows my every need. Baba knows me. And therefore, I don't have to journey alone. I don't. Baba knows my needs. Baba knows me. And how Baba said a few days ago, and Baba cares for you. And so the faith in my relationship with Baba, when I have faith in my relationship with Baba, then when scenes in the drama come, I can trust. If I don't have enough faith in my relationship with Baba, then when the scenes in the drama come, I don't trust it. And I start using my own manmat. I start using my own ways to protect myself or to survive. But when I know that Baba is here for me and he looks after me, I've seen over my whole Brahmin life. This was one thing that I've really, really appreciated, that Baba doesn't only look after my spiritual need, but Baba also takes care of every other need. I had a very sweet moment when a little while ago I was in Madhuban. And as I reached Madhuban, I went to Baba's room and I said, Baba, I'm here. And it was a beautiful feeling, Baba, I'm here. And just had this lovely moment with Baba. And then when I went for lunch, I had my favorite food. To other people, it may have not mattered what was there. But it's like a parent. When they know their child is coming home, they make what the child likes. And yes, it was a dish that not many people enjoy because it's quite bitter. It's an Indian vegetable called karela. Very nice. But in my heart, there was so much intoxication. It was a feeling as if Baba knows that the child has come home. And so Baba has prepared this meal for me. Sometimes we can go into our spiritual journey and forget the magic of relationship. The magic that moves us in our Brahmin life is to deepen that relationship with Baba in such a real way, and to have that faith, you are the one. You have come, Baba. And never allow that relationship to be taken for granted. It's human nature to make the extraordinary ordinary. And I have to be very careful that I'm not making these few magical years of the confluence age ordinary. How much do I have faith in Baba's Drishti? The gift of the confluence age is Baba's Drishti. How often can I look into those eyes of Baba and really let Baba fuel the soul to keep moving powerfully. It's like a parent looking at the child and saying, I believe in you. I love you. I'm here for you. I want to give you the best. How much do I let Baba's drishti nourish me? Can I look into those eyes of God and know the secrets of this journey of the confluence? The faith in Baba's drishti for me. It's very, very magical and very, very powerful. The faith that Baba has come to fulfill every relationship in a very practical way. I remember one day, many years ago, when I was a school teacher, and I was teaching in the classroom, and a child put his hand up and said, Ma'am, who's your Valentine? Yeah? Right in the middle of my accounting lesson, the child's asking me, Ma'am, who's your Valentine? Today's Valentine's Day. And this young girl on the front of the class said, Oh, well, don't you know it's God? And there was like this laughter in the class. But then there was a silence because it was a reality. And so, one doesn't have to be super holy and super spiritual, but you can be very real in your journey with God. Very real. And that's the intoxication that will keep you moving forward regardless. So faith, intoxication, this feeds determination in the soul and never allows the soul to get disheartened through different energies that may come in the drama. Recently, many souls are settling karmic accounts with their bodies. There's a lot of these karmic settlements. Many Brahmins are settling karmic accounts in a variety of ways. And if I haven't deepened my faith, and if I haven't fueled myself with that intoxication, then when the scenes of the drama come and the karmic accounts get stronger and more alive, then the soul can lose that determination. It just continues in its Brahman life, but it loses the magic and the momentum and the rhythm. Because the reality on this journey is that I have to reach a destination. It's not that it's going to come at some point and one day I will reach it. Baba said, I think on Sunday, that we are the creators and we create the drama with Baba. And not to allow time to be the teacher. Yeah? And so we also understand that the confluence age is not forever. The confluence age is a short period of time. And if you look at our seniors and we look at the journey, they are all getting old. No, we are all getting old actually. But we see how they are getting old. And I was at Dadi Ratan Mohini's birthday in Madhuban, and I realized this is our only Dadi that is left. And the days of the confluence age are getting fewer. The environment in the world is getting more intense. And I have to reach my destination. And sometimes when we look at destination, we may think about it in certain ways of somewhere we have to reach. But I feel that Brahma Baba, his destination was he reached his Kamatit stage, where he gave life to the words viceless, egoless, incorporeal. He arrived at something. And in my Brahman life, I'm making effort. But I have to have the aim that I need to arrive at a certain stage. I need to arrive at a stage of stability. I have to arrive at a stage that is free of waste and negative. And now I have to arrive at a stage of benevolence, not just even positivity, but benevolence. Because our Shiv Baba is a benevolent Baba. And if I need to connect to serve the world and to create my highest part in the drama in that way, I need to deepen the benevolence. And so when I talk about faith and intoxication and destination, each day I need to ask myself, where have I arrived at? At night when I'm giving Baba my chart and I'm taking drishti from Baba as I'm saying good night to Baba, can I give a signpost to Baba and say, this is where I have arrived at? You know, if you're on a long journey from point A to point B, after a certain hour, after certain kilometers, you can say, I've arrived at this destination. So there's a signpost. And you know you've got so much more to cover. I need to ask myself at the end of each day, where have I arrived at? And I'm really enjoying these Avyak signal points because I'm finding that the Avyak signal points and the homework of these Avyak signal points each day allows me to see at the end of the day how much I have arrived where Baba wants me to arrive. Can I look at Baba and say to Baba, yes, Baba, today my day was easy. You know, yesterday's homework, you know. Today was the power to accommodate. And again, how much can I say, Baba, I arrived at that space where today, no matter what happened, I was able to accommodate. To arrive at something, to reach a destination, means that you've accomplished something. If I'm not accomplishing something, if I'm not coming into a stage or holding a certain experience, then after a period of time, the soul will lose its determination. Because it's making effort every day, it's moving forward, but it cannot see any fruit. And so then my Brahman life becomes a routine. I do get up for Amrit Vela. I do listen to the Murli. I live a pure life. I eat pure food. I'm having my evening yoga. I'm giving my chart to Baba. I'm doing everything that I'm meant to be doing. But still the soul is not feeling content. Still the soul is not feeling accomplished. And the reason for that is I'm not looking deeper and asking myself every day, how far have I arrived? How far have I arrived in my own stage? How far have I arrived in my relationship with others? How far have I arrived in my journey of my response to the drama. It's very, very beautiful and supportive of my journey when I can see that there's something I can hold on for a long, long period of time. And this is what Baba was also talking about on Sunday. Because if I'm not arriving at a stage and holding that stage for a long period of time, I'm going to be deceived. Baba was talking about it on Sunday. And soul will get deceived. And when I'm deceived, then I get disheartened. Because then the soul no longer has that momentum. It's like I feel I've lost time, I've lost my stage, I could have been doing something more deeper along the way. And so we see how all of these three energies of faith, determination or intoxication, and destination are the momentum and the rhythm of the present time. I need the faith so that I can put a full stop in a second. If I'm not putting a full stop in a second, I will not be able to become bodiless. I think it was yesterday's blessing where Baba really highlighted that for me. So faith allows me to put a full stop in a second, and that journey allows me to stay determined. So I create a momentum so that every day along the journey, I can look inside myself and say, Baba, I have come this far. And I have to hold that stage to take my next step. And so these were a few thoughts that were in my mind. I know that I was asked to speak for 45 minutes. So I will stop there. But I'm very happy to now just interact with you, and let's share together if there's any questions, any thoughts you have.
Thank you so much. Everything was so powerful, and we have to go deeper and deeper in all what you shared, and thank you from the heart. I don't see some questions. There's just one because I interrupted you before, and you were talking about this hijacking. What was the result of that? Someone is asking. Can you repeat it?
So yes, it was beautiful what happened, because I realized that the more I could remain quiet and subtle, then the other person will not have power over me. And really, he looked at me. He looked at the lady that he was going to hijack. But then he turned around and he left. And the lady came to me and gave me a hug. And she said, "Thank you. God sent you." And I thought it was really her fortune and what Baba teaches us, Really, at this time in our journey, we need to become subtle. The things in the world are getting more and more gross, and the vibration of it is becoming very intense. For me to pass through these scenes of the drama, I have to become subtle. Because only when I'm subtle, I will not be noticed. And only then can I do the real work. Because at this time, if my energy is still gross, people get caught up in who I am, what I have to offer, what I have to do. I just really hold this elevated stage for yourself. You know, one day Baba said something very beautiful in the Murli that for me has been very powerful. And Baba said, you accumulate marks by the small things you do. It's not always the most noticed things, but by the small things that you do. And when my energy is subtle, then I'm not doing anything for name or fame or honor, but I'm doing it because I want to come close to Baba. I find in my own journey, I always say to Baba, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm washing dishes or I'm talking to you or I'm doing any other form of service, I always say to Baba, Baba, I'm doing this with you, for you, to come close to you. That's the mantra in my life that has helped me a lot. No matter what it is that I have to do, I just keep saying to myself, Baba, I'm doing this with you. So even when this class was going to start, I first call Baba to say, Baba, you must be with me. So to be with Baba, to do it for Baba, to come close to Baba. This keeps the soul quiet and subtle. Otherwise, we get caught up in many other things, which distracts the soul from its angelic energy. Because right now, to be subtle means to be angelic in our vibrations, not just in our form, but in our vibration. Right now, the world needs angelic vibrations. Yes.
Very nice. I don't see other questions. Just probably, uh, can you give us some techniques that can help us in being benevolent? And sometimes it's not easy, or sometimes it's not clear. How can we be benevolent and not be selfish or something else and criticize and have waste thoughts? Can you give us some techniques about that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a beautiful question because I love this word benevolence. You know, the Hindi word, one of the meanings for Shiva is Kalyankari Shiva, the ever benevolent one. And I find that we need to open capacity in the soul at this time. And the capacity of the soul, if it's using God's energy, only then can its capacity open. Over a period of time, we have still used our own energy. And when we are using our own energy, we still have limitations. And I really saw this and got inspired by this in Dari Janki because I've had the opportunity to watch her and experience moments of that journey. And it's like she knew how to not use her energy, but to use Baba's energy. And I'm finding more and more that when I have to do anything, and especially this month, I've really been practicing what the Avyak signals, that each time that I want to respond to any soul, I ask myself, am I using my sense cards or am I using Baba's sense cards? And I found that when I'm just reminding myself every time, whose sense cards am I using? I found that the energy of the soul became so clean and more flowing and purer and was able to offer at a higher frequency. I became an observer of my own self. And it became so beautiful to see this is how Baba's benevolence works. Baba's benevolence is so unlimited. And therefore, Baba's benevolence at this time is able to make hell into heaven. This is the capacity of God's benevolence. And so I love the word benevolence, that in every scene, there's only benefit. And when Baba comes at the confluence age, he gives me everything, everything. And he knows that nothing of this, no matter how I'm behaving, nothing of this will be wasted, and he'll never hold back because of my ways of being. And I find that if I am able to use Baba's ways in my relationships with others, the quality of my relationships become very clean and pure and elevated. I think today our relationships, it's not about just having good relationships. How often used to watch, there was many photos of our daddies. I used to really just look at those photos and watched how they behaved with each other. And you saw how elevated those relationships were. I remember one day, many, many years ago, I was walking at the Tower of Peace. I was going to my room, that I was there in the training section of Pandit Bhavan. And there by Indraprasth, the daddies were having a fruit picnic. And I had the opportunity to witness this fruit picnic. And I watched their interaction. And I thought, these are such elevated relationships that these souls have with each other. And when the soul has benevolence, it really opens capacity. And I really feel at this time, in order for I, the soul, to really operate at the highest level, I have to use Baba's sanskars and Baba's energy. And this, for me, helps to allow that benevolence to flow, where I'm not taking, There's an interesting law that I find. Anything you take from, then there's a level at which you need to be, you are bound by it. And so wherever you're taking from, the drama is going to make you bound to that situation. If I'm taking from a human being, then my ways would be such that I need to always please them. Or many of those kind of energies that create limitations. But if I have the feeling I'm taking from Baba and I'm just giving, I find relationships change, many things change. And even on a very practical level, when souls bring things to Baba's home, I always say to them, go to Baba's room. First go give it to Baba. Learn directly. So they have that relationship. So every energy is a flowing energy and not a taking energy. Because we can be taking in the drama very quietly. And that makes me limited. And it drops my capacity.